Hi all, a very good afternoon. Thank you for having taken the time to join me in today's session. This is Jay, your product expert from the AD Solutions team from Manage Engine. First things first, before we get into today's session, for those of you who want to try out the product as I demonstrate today, you can quickly access the URL that I am going to be sharing to you on chat. It's going to be demo.admanagerplus.com. So this is going to be the URL that's going to come in handy for you to try out the product as I demonstrate today. Let me get the zoom right. Yes, so it's going to be demo.admanagerplus.com, and ensure that you log in as the administrator to get all features. As in, if you want to access all of the features, ensure that you log in as the administrator. Maybe if you want to get the technician's point of view, try this specific button right here. So it's going to be demo.admanagerplus.com for the cloud instance. Yes, and the URL, I've shared it on chat. All right. Okay, so we are done with the cloud instance that's provisioned for you. In case if you have questions coming up through today's session, feel free to make use of the chat window and shoot them right at me. We've got Dhrubar to back me up for taking the questions, so we'll be answering your questions right away. Maybe if we miss out on one or two questions, do not worry. We will take them towards the end of the session because there's going to be a dedicated Q&A session towards the end. All right. And for those of you who want a recording of today's session, that can be arranged as well. All you'll have to do is just drop me a message again on the chat with your email address and I can have it emailed to you. So there was video request yesterday. A lot of you had asked for the video, so I've already emailed to all of you. Just in case if I missed out on anybody, please remind me and I can have it sent over again to you. I guess that is about the video. All right, so this is going to be the second day of the 5-day workshop series we are organizing for ADManager Plus. Let me quickly start off with the roadmap for the workshop series. So yes, so yesterday, day one was all about Active Directory user provisioning. We were talking about using user creation templates to have users provisioned in your Active Directory with ease. So that was the idea. So we had user provisioning done with simple user creation templates and CSV files. So that was the first case that we were discussing yesterday. So today's session is going to be more like a sequel to yesterday's session. So like you already know, user lifecycle involves provisioning, modification and deprovisioning. So today's session is going to be about the second and third phase of user lifecycle, which is modification and deprovisioning. So that's going to be the agenda for today's session, day 2. Day 3, day 4 and day 5, we are going to talk about AD reporting, Active Directory delegation and workflow, and finally the last day we'll be talking about automation. We'll try and automate all of these tasks, things like creation, deprovisioning, all of that from ADManager Plus automated for you. So that's going to be the roadmap for you. Before we get into today's session, giving you a quick recap on what we saw yesterday. Okay, so like I told you, yesterday was about advanced identity and access provisioning. So we understood how smart user creation templates can actually help you ease out the entire process of onboarding. We created templates for the IT department. We took the example of IT department and we saw how a simple CSV file with nothing more than just the first name and last name can get your whole user provisioning, done in one go. So that was about user provisioning. We also went on to discuss about group membership. We were talking about establishing a standardized naming format. We also discussed about making certain non-mandatory attributes mandatory, and that too without extending the schema from the application itself. And last, we discussed about detecting and stopping or preventing forest-wide duplicates right during the process of user provisioning. So that was about yesterday's session. In case if anybody wants the video, no problem at all, that can be sent over, email to you, just drop me a message. For those of you who missed out on yesterday's session, I can have the session emailed. All right. Okay, so without any delay, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be on efficient management of AD users, the second and third phase involving modification of AD users and deprovisioning of AD users. So that's going to be the task. And we'll go still further to talk about Office 365 license management and Exchange mailbox management. So you must be wondering if ADManager Plus is just an application that lets you do a 360-degree user provisioning, by which I mean to say we saw how to provision users in Active Directory, in Office 365, Google applications, and Exchange as well in one go yesterday. That was the agenda of yesterday. Today we'll be talking about doing modifications across all those platforms. So it's not just a 360-degree provisioning software, but also a modification software. Topics for today's session. We'll start off by creating user modification templates, just like user creation templates. Again, fundamentally, the application works this way. We will be having two components, one, a template, and number two, a CSV file, be it modification or provisioning, anything for that matter. So we'll start off with a template, a modification template, and a CSV file. We'll see how to have group memberships automatically updated. And when is this going to happen? When you have users moving between departments, or users being moved from one department to another, or in other case, probably they getting a promotion. So this is a day-to-day scenario that we administrators face. So we'll have users moving between departments. We'll have users getting promoted. At that point in time, the biggest challenge is going to be to rightly alter all of their AD attributes, starting from something as fundamental as group membership. Yes, doing it manually or doing it with PowerShell again is going to be super tedious and at times error prone as well. You would not want to give the wrong group membership. That's not going to happen. So we are going to talk about creating user modification templates and having automatically updated group membership. So that's going to be the first and fundamental case that we'll be discussing today. We'll proceed further to talk about moving home folders, and this is going to come in handy when your file servers are decommissioned. So what do you do right after your file servers are decommissioned? You map your home folders right. You move your users' home folders and map them right. So that's going to be another task. We'll still go further and talk about SMTP address modification, both in single and in bulk through a CSV import. We will go ahead to talk about the third phase of user lifecycle, which is deprovisioning user accounts. So this is going to be a crucial topic because cleaning up your Active Directory is one challenge that we face day in, day out. Ensuring the sanity of your environment is critical. So that way we'll be talking about deprovisioning user accounts, and I'm going to take a three-phase or a three-stage approach for the use case that I'll be discussing. Finally, we'll conclude today's session by learning how to migrate Exchange mailboxes, and from an ROI point of view, from a business point of view, we are going to talk about efficient Office 365 license management. So far, so good. All right, so yes, so we are going to be talking about all of this in today's session, and it's going to be about Active Directory user modification, Exchange mailbox migration, and Office 365 license management. Let me quickly jump into my product and start off today's topic. Okay, so like I told you, this is going to be the demo instance that you can access, demo.admanagerplus.com, and try out the features as I explained today. Quickly jumping into my instance. All right, so here we are at the dashboard view. The dashboard view gives you a quick overview as to what's what in your organization. It gives you a quick sneak peek, things like user reports, system reports, and there are a lot of other reports as well. So there's good news for you. The next update of ADManager Plus is going to carry an option to customize what user reports or what specific reports that you want to be shown right here on your dashboard. All right. And the best part about the dashboard is you can have modification tasks done right from the same console. Say, for example, you want to enable inactive users, you can do that. Or you want to deprovision inactive users, you can just click on that, get to the report, and have them deprovisioned. Yes. So yesterday we were talking about AD management. We were talking about user creation in AD management. Yes, we were going ahead and creating user creation templates. We also saw how to have templates provisioned for different departments. So that was the idea of yesterday's session. Likewise, today's session is going to be on modifying user accounts, just like the way we provisioned user accounts with ease. Yes? So it's going to be on modifying users. Yesterday it was on creating users. Today it's all about modification. So what's the template that I'll have to be using? It's going to be the user modification templates. So for those of you who missed out on yesterday's session, and for those of you who attended the session, it's going to be a quick recap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly create a user, all right, using a simple user creation template. And this user is going to be my test user for all the cases that I'll be discussing today. So I'm going to go ahead and create a single user. It looks like a full house today. We've got requests for videos already coming in. Do not worry, guys. We can have the video emailed to you for those of you who missed out. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to create an account using a user creation template. All right. So this is going to be Flint. All right. And the last name is going to be Stones. Okay, so we are talking about creating a user using a user creation template. What's the benefit of a user creation template? Values are already pre-populated. So I have different attributes already set as per my requirement. Here, like I can see, the password attribute is filled out. The group membership is filled out. From my contacts tab, I'm able to see that I have IT department set as my department. So this template pertains to the IT department. So I'm just going ahead and creating user as a test user. So I would not be needing an exchange mailbox. I'm trying to keep the user simple. So what are we trying to do right here? We are talking about a user, all right, who is getting onboarded into the organization as a trainee. So that's the obvious life cycle, right? So let me quickly see if I have a dedicated template for onboarding trainees. Yes, I do have. So this is going to be the list of user creation templates that I have. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a user with a specific template called as onboarding trainees. Let me quickly choose that and hit OK. So Flintstones is going to get onboarded into my system with attributes pre-specified in this specific template called as onboarding trainees. And this template is dedicated for having users into the IT department. So Flintstones is going to be a part of the trainees group and he's going to be a member of the IT department. So let me quickly check if all my basic attributes are rightly filled out. All right, so information and technology is mentioned. My exchange mailbox, I do not need one. He's a trainee, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly create that user. Creation in process. Just give me one quick moment and Flintstone is going to be provisioned into my Active Directory. Yes, I've successfully created the user. And like you can rightly see, he is a part of the trainees OU. Yes, that's because Flintstone is a new joinee into the organization. So do we have Flintstone? Oh, sorry for the typo. Just give me 1 minute. Flint. Looking up for Flint who just got onboarded. All right. So what I have right here is a user who got provisioned using a user creation template for onboarding new joinees or trainees. I can see the OU specified as trainees. I can see that the description says trainees. From the accounts tab, I'll be able to check the group membership. At this point in time, since Flintstone is a trainee, he's got access to all of these basic trainee groups. From the contacts tab, he has to belong to the IT department. So he is a part of the IT department and he's a trainee. Yes. So all of my basic attributes are in place. So what I've done right now is I've created a test user using a user creation template. My ultimate task for the day is modifying users using user modification templates. Okay, so I'll have to get into AD management, click user modification templates to create a new modification template. All right, so Flintstone has been performing really great. It's been, let's assume it's been like 3 months since Flintstone has been into the organization. Yes, so it's time that he gets moved from being a trainee and he moves into the actual IT department. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new template, all right, a modification template that's going to help me set those attributes that pertain to the IT department. So what am I trying to do right here? I'm trying to create a model or a module that's going to pertain to just the IT department users. So henceforth, anybody who gets moved into the IT department, be it a trainee or be it someone from another department, the moment I apply this user modification template, IT, let me call it IT user account, all right, for employees or for users moving into the IT department. So that's my ultimate aim. So I want to create a model that's going to help me have users moved into my IT department. This is just a case that I'm taking. It can be any other department. So as a best practice, you can have modification templates set for different departments. All right. So here I'm creating a modification template. So the description is going to say IT technician. So Flintstone, who had his description set as trainees, the moment if he gets moved into the IT department successfully using this template, is going to have his description set as IT technician. I'm going to alter the organizational unit that's going to be mapped to this specific template. Let me quickly say IT department and hit OK. Excuse me. All right, so we've selected the container that has to be mapped to this specific modification template. The container is set, the description is set. Getting into the accounts tab, the password is pre-specified, and here comes the crucial part. I'm going to give access to all those IT related groups. He's no longer a trainee, so I want his group membership to be modified to IT department. So this template is going to be my key to modify the group membership for all those users who are getting moved to the IT department. So I'm quickly looking up for groups pertaining to the IT department, and I'm going to go ahead and select the ones that have come up, all these right here, and hit OK. So let me quickly make one group as the primary group. All right. Okay, so there's one crucial step that I'll want you to note with care. So this is going to be a modification template that when applied upon a user is going to alter the group membership as listed right here. But then what about the existing group membership that that specific user already has? We do not want that group membership, right? So make sure that you get into the advanced option right here and say clear all existing group membership. So this way you ensure that the existing group membership of that specific user is wiped out and only the new group membership is added based on what you've selected right here. All right. So quickly moving to the contacts tab and setting the manager attribute. So now this user has a specific department. So he belongs to the IT department. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly search for my IT admin. All right, I'm going to go ahead and quickly select this specific user who's the head of the IT department in my organization and say, okay, so the moment this template is going to get applied, the department is going to be information and technology. The manager attribute is going to be mapped to this specific user who's the IT administrator. All right, from the accounts tab, I've configured the group membership as per my requirement. Let me quickly save this just to prevent any trouble. All right, so here what I've done is I've set the description and I've also specified the container. So what are we doing right here? So we are at the user modification templates module, and this module pertains to a specific department, right? The IT department for which I'm creating a template. From the layout view, I'm trying to pre-specify those values that have to be modified. From the general tab, I've specified the description and the container. From the accounts tab, I've specified the group membership. All right, and from the contacts tab, I've mentioned the department and the manager attribute. So we're done with all the basics. We have covered all the modification that has to take place right when the user gets moved into the IT department. All right, just like the user creation templates, modification templates also helps you or lets you copy attributes from a specific user. So you already have a user in your IT department and you do not want to take the pains of filling out the layout view. All you'll have to do is just get into copy users attribute and select the specific user who's already a part of the IT department. Let's say Alvin is already a part of the IT department. So if you do not want to key in one attribute after the other, you can simply copy an existing users attribute and populate it into the template. So how do you do that? You can click on the spanner icon that's right here, right? The one that's right here, and select those attributes that have to be copied. So you can go granular and select those attributes that you do not want to be copied. Something like employee ID is unique, so you do not want that to be copied. But then description, office, again, the telephone number can be removed. Select container, all of that are going to be common for anybody who's going to be a part of the IT department. So I can choose those attributes, be it my general attribute, be it my account related properties or my contact tab. All of that can be copied from an existing user who's already a part of the IT department. So how is this going to help me? This is going to save a lot of time and trouble. Instead of me filling out manually one tab after the other, I can just have it copied. All right, so clicking OK. So now that I've already filled out the attributes, this was just for demonstration, so I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. So all of the attributes are already in place. Yes, the department is specified, manager is specified. From the accounts tab and general tab, I've also specified the required values. Okay, so another critical and crucial step. Does the modification template have the same functionality as that of a creation template when it comes to making the template smart? Are there rules available? Yes, there are rules available. Right here, we've got the modification rules. So modification rules, how are they going to help us? Modification rules basically, again, just like creation rules, are going to have two parts to it. The first part is the condition part, and the second part again is going to be the value that has to be assigned. So the condition is going to be the department. Right here, it's going to be the IT department. All right. You can have any attribute set as condition. For my example, since the template is based on the department, I am going ahead with the condition as information technology, the department, and I can go ahead and specify values for different attributes. Things like the manager attribute, quickly choosing the required manager. So I can see that there are a lot of questions coming up. Do not worry at all. Dhruba's answering your question. We'll try to take as many questions as possible during the course of session. Yes, we've got IT admin, the manager as well selected. Just give me one quick moment. It's getting loaded. All right, so let me refresh that for you. Okay, so what I'm trying to do right here is I'm trying to set a condition, and if that condition is met, corresponding values are going to get assigned, and that's how modification rules are going to help. So I've set the department value, right? The next thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set the manager attribute when the department is IT department. It's taking a while. Sorry about the delay. Just give me one quick moment. All right, so we've got the list right here. From the available list, I can choose any of the user. Okay, for this example, I'm going to say Alvin. Let me say Alvin is the manager and hit select. So what we are doing right here is we are pre-specifying certain values that have to be assigned when the condition is met. Okay, let me select a few more to show you how it works. let's take container and add an IT department related container. Do we have IT department? Yes, we do. All right, hitting OK and adding it. So now you must have a fundamental question popping in your mind. We already did almost the same process in the layout view, but then why are we doing it once more in modification rules? So this is where the beauty of template comes into the picture. If you want a template specific to a department, you can go ahead and just use the layout view. But then what about having a modification template set for your entire organization? So you do not want to take pains of creating multiple templates. Instead, you just want one single modification template. All right, for all those, say for example in our case, for all those trainees who are getting moved or onboarded into the actual business process. So all the basic attributes that are common to your general organization can be filled out in the layout view, and from the modification rules panel you can have multiple department specific rules set. Let me quickly add one more rule so that you get better clarity. So adding another condition for the same field, which is department, you'll be able to understand better when I do this. Just give me one quick moment. The department is going to be, let's say, finance. All right. So the finance department is selected. That's the condition that has to be met. And the manager is going to be somebody from the finance department. So we are at the verge of creating one single template for the entire organizations for all of those trainees who are getting onboarded and deployed into the system, and at the same time into different departments. And that's going to be possible because we have modification rules that are department specific. So quickly choosing a user from, so Bruce Wayne apparently is a part of the finance department. So we had Bruce Wayne provisioned yesterday. So Bruce Wayne is a part of the finance department. I'm selecting Bruce Wayne as the manager, and I can add a few more attributes. Again, let me add the container pertaining to the finance department. Do I have a container for the finance department? Yes, I do. So finance department is selected and I'm hitting OK and hitting add. All right. So what do we have right here? We've created a template. Yes, that's got two rules. The first rule says if the department is information and technology, fill out the manager attribute as Alvin and select the container as IT department. The second rule says if the department is finance, fill out the manager attribute as Bruce Wayne and the container or OU as finance department. So this way we can have innumerable number of rules set for those conditions that we think are critical and crucial. So my differentiating parameter is going to be the department attribute, and I can have multiple rules set in one single template. But why are we doing all of this, and how is it going to be helpful? This is going to be helpful when we have multiple users belonging to different departments provisioned. Say for example, 20 different users being provisioned at the same time belonging to 5 different departments. Instead of creating multiple templates, like I've got a question relevant to that. Andy asks me if multiple modification templates have to be created. But then that's going to be a tedious process, right? Instead, just create one template, have rules set, all right? Different rules set based on your specific differentiating parameter. And the crucial step is to rightly get your CSV created, all right? When your CSV file, where you're trying to modify users based on an import, the department attribute has to be rightly mapped in that specific CSV file. I'll show you an example and you'll be able to understand it better, all right? Okay, so that's about modification rules. So modification rules are not very different from creation rules. Modification rules are more or less the same, but then the commonality between them is both of them have conditions and values to them. The difference is going to be creation rules obviously are for onboarding, and modification is when users get moved from one department to the other. So fundamentally, modification rules and creation rules operate based on conditions and values. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Hunter. Yes. All right. So we've done the layout. We've also understood as to how modification rules work. So we are more or less done with user modification templates. So let me quickly go ahead and have the template saved. Yes, so I've successfully saved my IT user account modification template. Okay, so initially we created a user called as Flintstone, all right? And Flintstone was a trainee. Yes, Flintstone was a trainee and he had attributes pertaining to that specific group. Since he was a trainee, he had his description, like you can see, filled out as trainees, his organization unit set as trainees, and few more attributes. From the accounts tab, we'll be able to see that his group membership is specific to the trainee related groups. All right, and from the contacts tab we'll be able to see that he has his department set as information and technology. Yes, so this is going to be my critical rule. So when this department attribute is rightly mentioned, the template that I had created a while back had the modification rule saying that information and technology is the condition that has to be met, and this and this are the attributes that have to be filled out. So let's see if that works. Let's see if modification templates are going to help me. So we are officially moving Flintstones from being a trainee into the IT department. So you can quickly search for the user. Let me quickly show you. You can look up for the user from the search objects option. Here in this case it's going to be Flint. So Flint is going to be the user who I'm going to be modifying. Clicking on Flint takes me to the modification module, and from the template option that's right here, I'm going to quickly hit change and select IT user accounts, the template that I created. All right, and I'm going to hit OK, and you'll be able to see the changes in action. Hitting on IT accounts, user accounts. All right, so like you must have noticed, Flintstones, whose description said whose description said trainees, has now become IT technician. His organizational unit, which said trainees, has changed to IT department. Let's see if his group membership has been altered. Getting into the group membership part. Getting into the group membership part, just give me one quick moment. Okay, so there you go. So here we are able to see that Flintstone has his group membership also altered. So all those trainee related groups have been removed because we set the clear group membership, and all those group memberships pertaining to the IT department has been added successfully. So in one go, I've been able to alter all those attributes pertaining to a trainee, and I've moved him or modified, or got all of his attributes pertaining to the IT department got right or set right. So the manager again says IT admin US. That's because the rule was met. So that's how you create a user modification template, and in one simple step all you'll have to do is just hit change, select the required template on the user who you want to modify, and hit OK, and that's going to help you modify the user's attribute based on the pre-specified template. Yes, before I update the user, all right, I'm going to quickly give you a preview as to what are the attributes that are changed for Flintstones. Trying to preview the changes that have been taking place. So here, Flint did not have a manager before because he was a part of the trainees department. So now, since he is moving into the IT department, he's got a manager set. His primary group membership was just domain users, and his membership was pertaining to the trainee department. Now it's pertaining to the IT department. He's been moved from this specific OU called as the trainees to the IT department, and his description as also being altered to IT department. So when I hit update, Flint is going to be successfully promoted into the IT department, and hitting update. From being a trainee, Flint is getting a full-time membership or full-time employment into the IT department, and yes, successfully updated the user's properties. Okay, so we are done with the first and most critical task for the day, which is creating a user modification template and altering a user's property by just one simple go. Things like group membership, things like department, things like description, manager, so on and so forth. Any AD attribute that's a part of the template can be pre-specified based on your department and get altered as well. Okay, so that's about modification templates. So here I've got back to the modification templates, and like you can see, there are multiple modification templates in my setup. There's one specific modification template I want you to take a look at. It says top executive. So what are we trying to do right here? So as a best practice, you necessarily need not have templates just for, say, departments, but then you can have role specific templates. In this example right here, it's all the more clear. So if you have users, a normal user, say for example somebody in the middle management getting promoted to being a top executive, that's going to give him access to top level administrative groups. His access control list is going to extend. In that case, instead of administrators manually altering something as critical as that for a top executive, instead can have a sanity check on a template that's created, a template that's not going to deviate from what you've set. All right, I got into this template. This is a pre-created template that I have for the top executive, and I'm going to show you what attributes are set. So the description is set as top executive. All right, and from the accounts tab, I'll be able to see the group membership pertaining to top level administrator groups. So here we have top level administrator groups. So for somebody from the IT department, the topmost groups are set. Yes. Okay, so what are we trying to do right here? So we can have not just department specific templates, but also we can have role specific templates. So you can have a specific template set for your line manager. You can have a specific template for your account manager. Any template can be created for any role based on your requirement with all the attributes pertaining to that role, again pre-specified. So yesterday we had Clark Kent, who was provisioned. During user creation, I had created Clark. So Clark is a part of the IT department who is a middle level management employee. All right, so that's who Clark is. He's an IT technician, belongs to the IT department, has properties that are listed right here. He's got access to all the basic groups, the domain users group, the IT access control group, all right, and the IT support group. Now Clark is getting moved to being a top executive. He's got a promotion, or he's getting this specific top executive change. So that way, again, all you'll have to do is search for the required user, hit change, select the required template, role specific template, and hit OK to see his group membership pertaining to that role being altered. So now the description is altered to top executive. From the accounts tab, we'll be able to see that his membership is also altered. So that's how you make the best use of user modification templates. Yes, so let's promote Clark to a top executive, and yes, so Clark has been successfully updated. So yeah, we have been talking about user modification templates all this long. So we saw how to create modification templates for departments. We also saw how to create templates for specific roles. If you want to do a bulk modification, again, as simple as that, like user creation, all we'll need is a simple CSV file specifying the SAM account name, yes, specifying the SAM account name, and the template, the modification template name. Once that's done, sorry for the typo, once that's done, you can go ahead and say or specify the user for who you want to alter the properties. Say Clark Kent and hit IT user accounts. I'm just doing it so that you understand. Say Lois Lane and say the finance department, finance user account. So all these guys who have to be moved to different departments or at the same time be promoted Okay, let's say Bruce Banner and say top executive. So Bruce Banner is getting a promotion. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So we are trying to fundamentally have everything pre-specified under modification templates, and right during the day of modification, all you'll have to do is just enter the SAM account name of the user and the template that has to be applied, and have your CSV file as long as you want, or with as many number of users as you want, and all of it is going to happen simultaneously when you hit modify users, just like creation, import the CSV file, and hit apply. So that's going to help us do a modification in bulk. So we saw how to do modification in single. For modifying users in bulk, you will need a CSV file like the one that I showed you right here, with the SAM account name, the unique identifier, and the template name that has to be applied. And that's going to help us onboard users or modify users rightly as per our requirement. Okay, so we are done with user modification templates. Let's get into the next topic, which is moving users home folders while decommissioning file servers. So we're talking about another management action right here. So what happens when a specific file server gets out of date? Say for example, it's had its time. It causes a great deal of difficulty, probably in validating your documents or probably tracking the access entries. Things like that are going to call for a new file server. So at that point in time, be it your home folder or your profile path, they have to be moved accordingly and mapped to a new location. But then if you were to adopt the native means, it's going to be altogether tricky, because you'll have to do it manually and map it right for one user after the other. Your home folder, which is more like the vault that contains your data, and your profile path that has your personal settings, for remote logon, have to be mandatorily moved right after the decommissioning. That has to be done. So how do we get it done through the product? So we can have home folders moved and your profile path moved from this option that's right here, which says move or delete home folder. So AD management, user management, and moving home folders or profile path, or deleting profile path. In this case, let's take the example of home folders. So the case that we are discussing is a decommissioned file server, and following that is a migration for a home folder and the profile path. So here we are selecting home folders and both profile path. One thing that you'll have to understand is the convention that has to be followed right here when you're naming or when you're specifying the destination to which it has to be moved, has to be in universal naming convention, or UNC path. That's the supported format. Something like the one that I'm going to show you right now. Something like this. So this can be the format. This has to be the format, the file server followed by the shared directory name. So for moving your home folder or your profile path, you will have to select both of the checkboxes, specify the new location, and as a best practice, we advise you to retain a copy in the original location. So how is this going to be helpful? Just in case something goes wrong, you can always get back to the copy that's available and have it restored and get going with the process all over again. All right. Again, once you've specified this, the next thing that you have to do is select the user for who you want to get the modification done. Yes, or do a CSV import. Now, when I'm talking about CSV file, you must have this obvious question in mind. What about the case sensitivity of the CSV file? These are held up errors right here, and it's important that you maintain format or you maintain the case sensitivity. So for a modification task, all you'll have to do is just have the SAM account name in place for all those users who you want to modify, or for all those users who you want to move the home folder. Just specify the SAM account name. All right. The LDAP headers again are case sensitive. Yesterday I had shared with you the the list of LDAP headers and their corresponding AD attributes. So what I'm going to do is, for the benefit of those who missed out on yesterday's session, yes, I'm going to quickly go ahead and share the logo file once more. So creating a CSV file is going to be critical both for user creation and modification. And when it comes to creation, we had a simple CSV file just with the given name and the last name. When it comes to modification, it's going to be the unique identifier, which is the SAM account name. So we are trying to get hold of the list of LDAP attributes from the help documentation. So there you go. So we've got the list of LDAP attributes, and I'm going to share that to you. So anytime henceforth, whenever you want to create a CSV file, you can always refer to the link on your chat right now. So this is going to help you, and this is going to be the consolidated list of all the LDAP headers and corresponding AD attributes. So here we're talking about SAM account name. So this format has to be maintained as a best practice. SAM account name in this case. Yes. All right. So we're talking about moving users. We saw that users can be moved either through a CSV import, a simple CSV file, or by quickly doing a search in the Active Directory. You can either search or specify the user from CSV imports, specify move operation for both home folder and profile path, enter the the new location in this specific format called as the universal naming convention format. As a best practice, retain a copy in the original location, and when you hit go, your home folders are going to be moved for the users that you've imported or selected. That is all. One simple step: select, specify the location, select the users, and get going. Yes. What could have taken you a lot of time if you were to have done manually, and not just the time aspect of it, but then the the errors that could probably come up when you're moving them. So that all of that has been mitigated by this one option that's right here. We're talking about AD management, user management, and moving home folders for users. So we're done with another use case, a useful use case. Okay, so let me quickly get into another modification task for the day. Let's talk about SMTP addresses. Let me quickly look up for a sample user. So we've got William Smith. So now let's see what's William Smith's existing SMTP address. So William Smith's existing SMTP address goes in this way. His primary SMTP address is william.smith@workshop.com. So when I want to go ahead and modify SMTP addresses for my users in bulk, again, it's going to be a bulk modification task, a user modification task. All I'll need is a CSV file, and I'll have to import it and specify what attributes have to be modified. So let me quickly create a CSV file for Will Smith and try and modify his attributes pertaining to the proxy address or the SMTP address. Just give me one quick moment when I have the CSV created. All right, so there you go. So that's the SAM account name followed by proxy addresses, which is the attribute pertaining to the SMTP address, and then followed by the actual user with both the primary and the secondary SMTP addresses to be altered. The new addresses are specified. So at this point in time, Will Smith's SAM account name is William Smith and proxy address was williamsmith@workshop.com. I'll want it to be altered to W Smith as the primary address and secondary address as William Yes. All right. So for clarity's sake, let me quickly add numbers so that we understand or see the change in action. So quickly saving that as a CSV file onto my desktop. It's going to be user SMTP mod for it's a CSV file again, and it's going to be for William Smith. William Smith is the user. Yes, so I'm trying to modify users through a CSV import. Like you already guessed, CSV is going to help you to have multiple users listed one after the other with the addresses that you want to be modified to. Modify users using CSV under AD management. The next obvious step is to import the required CSV file. Here I've created a CSV file for modification, hitting on open, selecting the required CSV file and hitting OK. So this is going to quickly, all right, so it says incorrect CSV format, number of headers. So that's the beauty of the product. It validates the CSV file every time before it actually lets the modification happen. So what's gone wrong in the CSV file? Okay, so I could have probably misplaced a double quote. Let me quickly edit that and get it right for you. Right, everything seems to be perfectly fine. So we are trying to modify the SMTP address for William Smith using a CSV import. We've got proxy addresses in place, William Smith as well, set right, save as CSV file, import. Do I have extra spaces? Let me quickly sanitize the CSV file. All right, so that's set right. The primary SMTP address goes in uppercase and secondary SMTP address goes in lowercase. Hitting save. Import choose file. I'm guessing it should work right now. SMTP modification, hitting open, choosing the file and hitting OK. Great. So there was an issue with the CSV file in the formatting. Now that I altered it and got it right, I can have my user, proxy, Will Smith's proxy address modified, right? So the product not just helps you do a modification, but also ensures that you have sanity in place. So we've got William Smith. The proxy addresses are also mentioned right here. We saw that William Smith's current, let me quickly open an alternate window and show you William Smith's existing attributes. Yes, so we are able to see that the existing SMTP address is william.smith. Okay, let's see if it gets altered based on the CSV file that I created. I'm going to go ahead and quickly hit update. This window is going to be a crucial window from where you select those attributes that have to be modified. So here it's the proxy address that I want to modify. So I'm unselecting SAM account name, which is going to be my reference attribute. When I hit match criteria and say show, I have my match criteria. So the SAM account name, like you know, is the unique identifier that's going to help me map that specific user for who I want to do the change. Here, SAM account name is specified as the match criteria, and the modification attribute is set as proxy addresses. Okay, before I hit OK, I'm going to show you the advanced options that are available. Here you have provision to append values. So to the existing list of SMTP address that this specific user has, you can either choose to append the value, excuse me, or choose to overwrite the value. Right here it says multi-valued attributes like group membership and proxy addresses can have this option checked. So here I want to override, so I'm unchecking that. And here comes the part where if you choose to remove specific attributes or clear off specific attributes, you can specify that attributes header on the CSV file and leave the corresponding value empty. And when you say clear the attributes value in AD, if the value is empty, it's going to clear that attribute off. Say for example, there's a attribute like phone number that you want to remove for the users in your CSV file. So you have to have the header specified in your CSV file. In your CSV file, the attribute that you want to clear off, the header rightly specified, and leave a blank in the place where that attribute has to be cleared off. Yes, do not fill anything after that. So that way you can clear it off. So this is another workaround for clearing attributes that are not required. Yes, so in this case, it's all about just proxy address modification. So I've cleared that off and I'm unchecking this and hitting OK. So we are trying to modify the SMTP address via a CSV import, and it says successfully updated. So let me quickly check if Will's address is updated. All right, so we have William Smith right here. Let's quickly get into his Exchange module and see if his address has been altered. There you go. So we've altered both the primary and the secondary SMTP address for William Smith, like the CSV file that we created. So if you want a bulk operation to be performed, all you have to do is, like you already know, just key in the users and specify their proxy addresses or the attribute that has to be modified. So that's another task for the day. So we're done with modifying SMTP addresses. So let me quickly get into the next phase of user lifecycle management, which is user deprovisioning. Okay, in your organization you can have your own means or own steps for deprovisioning. As a best practice, we advise you to take the deprovisioning in 3 steps. First of all, remove all the unnecessary group membership that the users who have to be deprovisioned have, and then, say for example, after 10 or 15 days, disable those users and finally delete their account. So that's going to be the step or the phases in my deprovisioning process. All right, so it's going to be a user modification task that we're talking about. So it's going to be under AD management, user management, and all the 3 phases for my deprovisioning are going to involve me removing of the group attributes, me disabling the users, and finally deleting the users. All of it right here for you. So group attributes, hitting on group attributes to clear off the group attributes, which is the first step. I can set clear all group membership and specify the list of users through a CSV import or select the users one by one manually. So the first step is to remove group attributes or modify group attributes, and when I hit clear all group membership right here and import CSV, it's going to clear off all the group membership for those users. So the first step is done. Yes, we're done with the first step of clearing off the group membership. So the next step is going to be to disable the users. Again, the format of operation is same. You select an operation, you select the users and get done with it. So here the next step is to disable the accounts. So I can choose disable, yes, and import the list of users. Yes, and hit OK, and my users are going to be disabled. The second step is also done. The third step, the final step for my deprovisioning, is going to be deleting the accounts. All right, so when I say delete, all I'll have to do is, so the headers right here or the nomenclature is self-explanatory. Removing group membership from group attributes, disabling users from right here, and finally deleting users by selecting the list of users from a CSV import and hitting OK. So this way I can have my entire deprovisioning process done in a very sanitized way, in a very organized way, by firstly removing group membership, then disabling them, and finally deleting my users from my entire organization. So we've discussed 2 important phases of user lifecycle management. Creation was discussed yesterday. Today we discussed modifying attributes of users. We also discussed how to deprovision user accounts. Yes, we spoke about group attribute deletion, disabling, and deletion. That was the flow for deprovisioning. We also went and saw as to how to modify users SMTP address, bulk modify SMTP address. Then we discussed a critical case where we learned how to move home folders right after a file server is decommissioned. So what we're left for the day is with 2 simple and easy tasks that is not going to take more than 5 minutes. I can see that it's 12:30 right now. 5 more minutes and we'll be done with the session. Yes, we are going to finish off the session with Exchange mailbox migration and license management for Office 365 users. Yes. So we're talking about migrating Exchange mailboxes. So your organization can be moving from Exchange 2010 to 2016. If you want to avoid the grueling PowerShell scripts, the whole process of migrating is going to involve a lot of pre-planning. Instead of that, what you can do is get into user management under AD management, specify the action which is migrating mailboxes right here. It says migrate mailbox. So this is going to help you move your Exchange for your entire environment from one version to the other, selecting migrate mailbox. Pretty simple, just a two-step process where you have to specify the server to which it's got to be moved and the database to which it's got to be moved and import the list of users, and all the hard work for the exchange migration is going to happen in the background and the product is going to take care. So what's going to take you a lot of planning if you were to do manually can be done in just two simple steps by specifying the server, the database, and the list of users. All the hard work is going to happen in the background. So we are talking about migrating Exchange mailboxes from one server version to another, AD management, user management, migrate Exchange mailboxes. Yes, that's done. The last task for the day, a very important task when it comes to from a business point of view, Office 365 licenses don't come cheap. So it's important that we on a regular basis ensure that those inactive Office 365 users are removed off their licenses. So it's going to be a AD report that we'll be generating. So this is going to be more like a sneak peek I'm giving you into AD reports. AD reports pertaining to Office 365 users right here. So we've got an Office 365 report. So my intention is to find out the list of inactive users and have them stripped off their licenses. So from AD reports, from Office 365 reports, I can quickly generate the list of inactive users and have that list exported as a CSV file. So if you are already aware of the inactive users, you can save the trouble of generating the report. So you can specify the timeline and hit generate and get the list of users who have been inactive in your organization. Let's see if my environment has any inactive users. So I've specified the timeline as the last 3 months. So those users who've been inactive in my organizational setup for the last 90 days or 3 months are going to get populated right here in this report. I'm guessing there shouldn't be many users. Yes, like I told you, there's none in my environment. If you have inactive users in your Office 365, the moment you hit generate, you're going to have a list of users who have been inactive. So with that list or with the list that you already know, you can have a CSV file created. And with that CSV file, what we are trying to do is inactivate those users or strip them off their licenses. So it's going to be a AD management task, Office 365 management, AD management, Office 365 management, and assign or remove licenses. That's going to be the function that we'll be performing. AD management, Office 365 management, and assign or remove licenses. So this is going to give me a list of all the users available in the organization. For this case, I'm just taking an example, right? Let's say Carla right here. Well, let's see if somebody has a specific license, right? So we've got the list of users available right here. And from this list, I can choose a specific user for who I want to remove or assign license. So we're talking about removing licenses right here. So I can choose users, all the users right here, or specify the users right here, or as a best practice, import a CSV file with the list of inactive Office 365 users and hit apply. I'm going to select one user, quickly select one user and hit apply. All right. I am going to choose remove selected licenses. That's going to give me a list of licenses that have to be removed. So now that I know that the user is inactive, I can choose and remove specifically those licenses that can be stripped off from that user and reapplied to another user who could make better use of it. So that way you can have a sanitized Office 365 environment with best ROI, with the best return on investment. Yes, so all I'll have to do is specify and hit apply. That's going to strip them of license, and then from the very same console I can also apply or add license to other users who could make better use of it. Say for example, I have another list right here, and when I hit add, I can reassign those in unused licenses to new users. So that's going to be a 360-degree management that we're talking about, not just AD management but also efficient Office 365 license management. So let me quickly take 2 minutes to give you a recap on what we discussed today. So today's session has been a crucial session because we were discussing about modification. We started off with creation of user modification templates. We had users modified based for the IT department. We went on to move home folders right after a decommissioning. We saw how to modify SMTP addresses. We also deprovisioned users in 3 different stages. We went on to migrate Exchange mailboxes and finally managed Office 365 licenses. So tomorrow's session is going to be about Active Directory reporting. So today we saw how to generate a report, a Office 365 report. So tomorrow's session is going to be all about Active Directory reporting. I'll be taking 10 different important reports and use cases and generate reports. And let's see how these reports are going to be actionable. We're going to be talking about logon permissions for different domain controllers or your workstations, doing an organizational wide password reset. We're also going to be talking about something very critical, which is NTFS file server permission management. So tomorrow's session is going to be critical for report generation. We're going to be discussing on critical topics like NTFS file server permission reports and group membership reports. So I want you to join me tomorrow. Thank you once again for having taken the time to have joined me in today's session. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you have any questions, please use the chat window. We've been trying to answer as many number of questions as possible during the session. Yes, for those of you who want a copy of today's session, that's going to be totally possible. Just drop me a message with your email ID and we can have it sent. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. Until tomorrow, this is Jay, your presenter for the day, signing off. See you, tada, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.